you have to discuss your own childhood experience, because you can only give as much as you have. How were you raised will determine how you raise your child. So, have you been exposed to better? Have you healed? Have you experienced better? Or rather, do you feel that the parenting style of your parent is something worthy of emulation? Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk with Victor. This is a safe place for love, relationship, and marriage. I love love. Do you love love? If you do love love and you really are in for real talk about love, relationship, and marriage, do well to hit that subscribe button. Now, beside the subscribe button, there is a notification bell right there. Do well to also hit that so that you can get all the updates that I will be dropping on this YouTube channel. Welcome to another day where we explore 30 questions we need to answer sincerely before we walk down the aisle, before we say, I do to the love of our lives. As I said, love is never enough. So we need to ask some questions and find an answer to them before we commit to this lifelong journey. Marriage is eternal. Marriage is for eternity. Marriage is forever. So, with that consciousness, we should be able to have discussions and ask ourselves questions during the time we're going out, so that we can be able to answer these questions sincerely and get into this commitment and be ready to do life together. So, the question that I have before me today that you need to sincerely answer is parenting. Parenting. We have to talk about children. How many children are we going to have? How many children are we going to raise as parents? And how are we going to raise them? What is going to be our parenting style? I hope when our child goes wrong, you're not going to take the side of the child. Now, before you begin to talk about parenting and having children, you also have to begin first to discuss your own childhood, how you were raised, discuss the childhood of your partner. How was he or she raised? You guys have to discuss it. You know, do you enjoy the parenting of your father or your mother? Do you have some traumatic experience with childhood growing up? What are those things that you would not want your child to experience? Now, you have to discuss this first. Sometimes, I hear a lot of questions like, what are we going to be doing when we are cutting or when we are dating? Or when you say communicate with your partner, what are we going to be talking about? These are things you talk about. How many children are we going to have? 4. How many children are we going to have? 11. So you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. How many children are we having? All right. So if we're having 3 children, so how are we going to raise them? What will be the gap? Now, this is what happened when I got married early. Because I got married very early, I wanted to date my wife as my wife, not as my girlfriend. Now she is mine. We're married. This thing is signed, sealed, delivered. So let's have time together. Let's take a stroll. Let's walk the street together. Let's wake up in the morning and not have anything to do. Let's just enjoy ourselves before the little ones start coming. But guess what? My wife betrayed me. Yes, she betrayed me. She was desiring to have a child. She was desiring to have our child, our baby, secretly. I never knew, but left for me, I was like, let's wait. Let's wait on it. When everything is more settled and all that, we can now have the children come in. But guess what? She wanted a child. And we had our first child, and that was it. That's the story, a story for another day. And so the children thing, the parenting thing is one discussion, one question you need to ask and find an answer to before you walk down the aisle, so that you don't have divided view and divided expectations when it comes to children, and also when it comes to parenting. I remember our little child, our little baby girl, she did something and my wife shouted, shouted at her, and she ran to me. When she ran to me, I shouted at her. She was standing in the middle of the both of us, and we stood against her. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm in trouble." There was nowhere to hide, because our parenting is that we are not taking the side of the child. We're taking our side against the child, and we're standing to make sure the child is disciplined. So, this kind of thing that you shout at my child. Why are you shouting at my child? Why are you shouting at my child? So those things needs to be discussed. Yes, you need to discuss it before you walk down the aisle, so that you don't get married to somebody that will call our child my child. You get that, right? So it's going to be fun, it's beautiful, it's exciting. But as I said, the question you answer is the solution you bring to your world. And the questions that you avoid is the problem you have embraced. The reason for a lot of parenting chaos in our society today is because they never really sat down and discuss it before they actually walk down the aisle. Will our child stay with anybody? No. Our child is not going to go stay with any family member, be it my younger brother or my younger sister or whatever. Our child is going to grow up with us as her parent or as his parent. We're not having our child. My dad had that, resolution. My child is not going to stay with anybody. My dad had that. So we stayed with him. Whatever we saw, we ate. So, but home, there's no place like home. Home is home. Dad is daddy, mommy is mommy. So there's nobody that's going to be like mommy. There's nobody that's going to be like daddy. We can call them daddy, we can call them mommy, but that doesn't make them that. That doesn't make them that. So nobody's ever going to treat you the way your biological parent is going to treat you. So these are things that you discuss with your spouse. You're supposed to be a spouse. Now, mind you, I am talking to people that are already getting ready to get married, that are already getting ready to say I do. Now, but if you're here and you're already married, you're stumbling into this video and you're already married, you can start having this conversation with your partner. How are we raising our children? Talk about technology. Talk about television. Talk about when to give them phone, when to, talk about a collective way of parenting is so important, because they are our future. The children are our future. First of all, you have to discuss your own childhood experience, because you can only give as much as you have. How were you raised will determine how you raise your child. So have you been exposed to better? Have you healed? Have you experienced better? Or rather, do you feel that the parenting style of your parent is something worthy of emulation, something you can copy and also transfer to your children? The Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. They should go. Because when they are old, they will not depart from it. Raising a child is so important, because you're raising the future. So ask the questions about childbirth. How many are we having? 1, 2, 3. How many? 11. How many are we having? You need to ask that question. How will they be raised? You need to ask those questions. How is our parenting style in terms of discipline? You need to ask this question. I believe today has blessed you. If you've not yet subscribed, please do well to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. There is value in this place. There's value in this place. Subscribe and join the family. God bless you.